A BBC investigation uncovered thousands of messages promoting lethal substances known as nitazenes on X and the music platform SoundCloud. Nitazenes, which are more dangerous than heroin, have recently been connected to roughly 3 deaths each week in the UK on average. After we notified SoundCloud, the posts were removed. X, formerly Twitter, removed hundreds of listings, yet many remained. SoundCloud claimed it had been targeted by bad actors, but X did not reply to calls for comment. Nitazenes, which are prohibited in the United Kingdom, are synthetic medicines manufactured in laboratories. They are similar to heroin and morphine, but can be hundreds of times stronger. It is believed that users often ingest them inadvertently because traffickers hide them among other illegal narcotics in order to reduce production costs. A publicly sponsored testing lab discovered nitazenes in a variety of substances, including street heroin and black market tablets that traffickers incorrectly claimed contained anti-anxiety medications like Xanax and Valium. Our information reveals that dozens of providers are openly advertising on the internet and distributing nitazenes via mail from China, where they are made in laboratories. Nitazene comes in many different variants, each with its own chemical structure and potency. The BBC discovered over a dozen different forms of nitazenes promoted under distinct chemical names. The BBC research found thousands of social media posts promoting the medications, including, the drug's name and contact information appeared as the track title in roughly 3,000 SoundCloud entries, some dating back a year. There were over 700 posts on X, the majority of which were published since the beginning of 2023. One post was from a supplier who was indicted and sanctioned in the US in September 2023 for shipping 15 kilograms of nitazenes from China. We posed as drug dealers and contacted 35 suppliers, 14 of whom advertised on SoundCloud, 6 on X, and 15 through a website marketing wholesale chemical producers. 30 people offered to post the drug to the United Kingdom. The BBC did not actually purchase any nitazenes. The vast majority of suppliers claimed to work for organizations that appeared respectable, with professional websites and corporate addresses in Chinese cities. Most advertisements followed a template, including the nitazenes' names and photographs, contact information for secure messaging platforms, and assurances of secure delivery or customs clearance. The advertisements appeared to target drug dealers, offering large purchases for them to resell in smaller batches. While we discovered that traffickers in the United States and the United Kingdom utilize social media to communicate with suppliers, we found little indication that individual drug users do the same. The vendors supplied us videos and images of the narcotics, as well as kilogram bags measured on digital scales. Some said they would escape customs by hiding the pills in dog food and catering materials. One supplier submitted a video and photos of a clean laboratory where they said the medications were manufactured. Our study revealed that more than £4.2 million in Bitcoin had been deposited into the cryptocurrency accounts of 19 of the suppliers over the last 2 years. In secretly recorded video calls, vendors repeatedly convinced our undercover reporter that the medications were safe, despite the fact that they had never been approved for medical use anywhere in the globe. One supplier smiled as they explained how they used SoundCloud. It's a music platform, but we can make an advertisement on it. Another supplier said that X was good to use and better for promoting pharmaceuticals since, in their experience, they were less likely to be blocked on X than on other platforms. Professor Vicky Nash, director of the Oxford Internet Institute, a department at the University of Oxford that studies online activity, says, finding adverts on this scale, hundreds, thousands of adverts, is horrifying, with potentially a very significant risk to human life. She goes on to say that the BBC's research has revealed how criminals have been blatantly misusing SoundCloud by putting advertisements in what seem to be music tracks, in a way that may be found on search engines. Adverts for nitazenes can also be found elsewhere online. However, searching for the names of various nitazenes on other prominent social media sites yielded only a few messages or safety warnings. When nitazenes penetrate the local drug supply, they can swiftly become lethal. 4 males died within a fortnight in Oxfordshire in 2021 after using heroin laced with nitazenes. According to the National Crime Agency, NCA, the substances were linked to at least 101 deaths in the UK between the 1st of June 2023 and the 22nd of February 2024, which equates to approximately 3 per week. Claire Rocher, whose musician's son Dylan, 21, was one of the first deaths related to nitazene-contaminated medicines in the UK, calls the BBC's findings shocking. Dylan, whose band had planned to tour the UK prior to the COVID epidemic, was discovered dead at home in Southampton in 2021. Mrs. Rocha characterized him as a musical genius. Dylan, who had received addiction treatment, has never explained how he purchased what he believed to be heroin. A coroner ruled that he was most likely ignorant that the medicine included nitazene. Dylan utilized SoundCloud to share his songs, but there is no indication that he purchased narcotics through the platform. A toxicologist determined that his death was caused by a combination of nitazene, heroin, and alcohol. Mrs. Rocha describes the thousands of advertisements put on SoundCloud and X as absolutely crazy. How has that been allowed to happen? She asked. How many people have died as a result of that being advertised there? Driven by avarice. Other opioids, like as heroin and morphine, are derived from poppy plants. In the past, the majority of heroin brought into the United Kingdom came from fields in Afghanistan. Some experts believe the Taliban's recent assault on production is pushing criminals towards nitazenes. However, Charles Yates of the NCA disagrees, stating that the organization monitors and tests medication shipments. He feels that there is no direct link between the Taliban's actions and the increasing use of synthetic opioids. Instead, he believed that most criminals, whose sole motivation is greed, used nitazenes because they were inexpensive. The agency is collaborating with police, the border force, and international partners to ensure that all lines of inquiry are prioritized and vigorously pursued to stem any supply of nitazenes to and within the UK, he says. In 2023, the United States Drug Enforcement Administration (D) accused 11 Chinese firms with selling synthetic opioids, including nitazenes. Following a tip-off from the DEA, the Met Police broke down an illicit pill factory in West London that produced hundreds of thousands of counterfeit Xanax pills and other benzodiazepines, including a potent nitazene. It is believed to be the first time police have disrupted an organized criminal group distributing nitazenes in the UK. According to the BBC, authorities discovered text messages on the gang's phones following the raid in August 2022, indicating that they were initially hesitant to employ nitazenes but were encouraged to do so by the Chinese suppliers. Unbelievably dangerous. Many suppliers offered discounts on large purchases to our undercover buyer via WhatsApp messaging, and others even recommended how much to put into pills that would be sold illegally in the UK. However, Caroline Copeland, a senior lecturer in pharmacology and toxicology at King's College London, believes the medications are so potent that it is difficult to determine a safe amount. I don't think there is even a safe dose, she said. According to Mike Trace, a former British drug czar, there is already a overdose crisis in England and Wales, with roughly 5,000 drug deaths per year. If nitazenes come into this market in a big way, that death rate could spiral and double or treble. Since 2021, nitazenes have been detected 54 times in samples of pills supplied by dealers as anti-anxiety medications such as Xanax and diazepam. Weedinos, a Welsh government-funded program that evaluates anonymous samples from all throughout the United Kingdom, gathered the data. According to experts, this raises the risk of overdose because users are inadvertently taking powerful opioids, maybe for the first time, and have no tolerance for the medicines. A worldwide epidemic. Last month, 14 nitazene types were classified as Class A under the Misuse of Drugs Act, making possession illegal and increasing punishments for supply. The Psychoactive Substances Act had already made it illegal to sell or import any nitazenes in the United Kingdom. In China, things are more complicated. Some have been forbidden by name, but new derivatives that are available for purchase online do not appear to have been banned yet. Nitazenes have arisen while efforts are undertaken to reduce the availability of fentanyl, another synthetic opioid that has fueled an overdose epidemic in the United States. Authorities suspect that fentanyl and the ingredients used to create it are also manufactured in Chinese laboratories. In November 2023, the United States and China declared a renewed alliance to curb trade. Previous cooperation between the two sides resulted in a number of achievements, including multiple convictions in China. SoundCloud has stated that it and other social media platforms are being targeted by bad actors, and has pledged to do everything we can to combat this global epidemic. It claims to utilize both human moderation and algorithms to detect and remove information that supports drug sales, and continues to evaluate and invest in best-in-class technology to aid in this effort. It has erased around 3,000 posts. X has not replied to calls for comments. It erased hundreds of posts after being informed by the BBC, but many were still available 4 weeks later. We called all 30 vendors who wanted to sell us medicines, asking why they were selling illegal and harmful things. Only 6 people answered, and all stated they had never transported the medicine to the UK. According to the Home Office, there has been an intensive operational effort to track down nitazenes and their suppliers on the streets, at the borders, and online. The Online Safety Act, enacted last year, emphasizes the need for tech businesses to quickly remove harmful content and protect consumers. It goes on to say that an improved, early warning system, that involves analyzing wastewater for the presence of synthetic opioids would enable them to detect and respond to the narcotics as soon as feasible.